That's your vibe.
Yes.
Totally.
Sarcastic and snarky is what I live for.
Welcome to Books and Banter, a podcast about books. I'm Janine, a library clerk.
And I'm Jess, branch admin.
And we both work at the Winkler branch of South Central Regional Library. In this podcast, we talk about books with our own twist. We read the first half of the book and predict where it might be going, and then finish reading the book and discuss the second half.
There will be snark, there will be spoilers, and depending on the book, there may be references to violence, sex, and other adult topics. So if that's not for you, stop listening now.
All right, let's get into this week's book. Alrighty, today we are diving into the very popular Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now, the commanding general, also known as her toughest talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre? I think so. Dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Xaden Rierson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet, with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly, the kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to ride. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basgiath War College has an agenda. Because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. So this is book 1 in the Empyrean series, published May 2nd, 2023. Book 2, Iron Flame, is set to be released on November 7th, 2023, although by the time this podcast comes out, it will be out already. The book has 4.65 stars on Goodreads, which is pretty high and has been blowing up all over Book Talk. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it or read it already. So author info is from Yarros' website. So this is like a quote, something she's written. Hi there, I'm a hopeless romantic and adore all things chocolate, coffee, and paleo. No, seriously, I need to have a caffeine IV put in. I've adored reading all my life, and writing naturally evolved from my love of late nights and promises of one more page. I'm also a military wife of almost 20 years. During my husband's deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, I was devouring a book a day, and during his third deployment, I finally wrote my own. With a somewhat ironic timing, I received my book deal for Full Measures during his fourth deployment and published a month after he returned home. Rebecca is the New York Times bestselling author of over 20 books, which was very surprising to me because I've never heard of her until this book came out. Mm-hmm. And she and her husband have 6 kids. So I know you're chomping at the bit to get at this. I
love this book.
One more thing I will say is I am listening to the audiobook, and I won't say anything about the audiobook aside from saying that the narrator's voice sounds like it's in fast forward when it's not.
Oh, that's annoying.
So Mike was like, can you not just like speed it up? And I was like, no, because her voice already sounds really fast.
This is ironic considering you were complaining about Michael reading and being... who did Brandon Sanderson? Michael who? Him reading too slowly.
Yes.
So be careful what you wish for, Janine.
This person, to me, at times sounds like they're talking like really fast. Otherwise, there's something else I was going to say about her, but I can't remember. That's all I'll say about that.
I was debating buying the audiobook, honestly.
It's not bad.
Yes, but having had Kate Redding and Michael, whatever his last name is, I've had the best. Between that and Catherine Kellgren. Honestly, best narrators ever.
The narrator of this one is, I would not say the best, but she's all right. I can tolerate it.
She is adequate.
She is adequate. So you're loving it.
I love this book.
Okay.
It is basically somebody made How to Train Your Dragon for adults.
See?
And don't get me wrong, I'm an adult, and I have watched all of How to Train Your Dragon, including all of the miniseries in between, because it's dragons, dude.
That's what I was thinking of when I was reading this. Mm-hmm. Is how to... I know it's like...
I had the soundtrack through my mind, like, for 95% of what I was reading.
I will say, though, there are parts of this that read a lot like YA.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Like, it's very much
Could also be why I like it.
the horny teenager vibe, which I am getting a little tired of.
It's not too bad, honestly, considering, like, there was a trigger warning or something at the front.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
Well, we're only halfway through.
Like, it definitely reads like we're talking about 20-year-olds, but it's not nearly as bad as I expected, so that part is good.
That would be a minor complaint from me, is that, like, the first thing I wrote down after listening to the first chapter was, this is reading more like YA than adult to me.
Well, there are some elements, like Zayden, when she first saw him. It was like, oh, he's handsome, he's gorgeous, that jawline, that brow, oh. Where then finding out that it's Zayden and that he's the son of the former rebel leader and he definitely wants to kill you.
Yeah.
You knew he wasn't going to because she's already gone, well, he can't, he's too hot.
No. Oh, they're so getting together.
It was very transparent in that way.
Yeah.
What I didn't expect was, who's the other guy? What's his name?
Which other?
Her friend.
Dane?
Dane. I want to shove that guy into a dragon's face.
Oh, that guy is such a
creep.
Knobhead with no knob. For lack of other worse words that I could say. I do not like him at all.
He is horrible.
He is the worst.
Like, was there a single conversation that they've had in the entire book so far where he hasn't gone, please give up, please quit,
yes, no.
please become a scribe instead? Like, I want to push him into a dragon.
Like, has he not seen what she has done?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Like, even Zayden is going like, dude, seriously.
I know. And he has pointed that out to her many times.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is not on your side.
No.
And even when his friend let the attackers into her room,
7 assassins,
he would not believe her.
Like,
because he was like, well, no, my friend wouldn't dare break the rules. She wouldn't dare.
Yeah.
I'm like...
And the fact that he literally admitted, I will let you die if I have to break the rules to save you.
I know.
Like, dude!
Yeah, you don't tell people that.
Such a creep.
I know. That's something you only reveal as you're letting them die, because...
Because that is what an evil villain do.
Well, then there's nothing they can do. They don't have to walk around with that knowledge. That
it's just, oh, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry. But, like, yeah, the person then does not have to walk around with that knowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
All the time of, like, oh.
Well, this is my best friend, Bob. He wouldn't do anything to save my life. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't... Yeah. No, he's not a good friend.
No.
At all.
No. If he gets eaten by a dragon, I will just feel very sorry for the dragon for having indigestion.
I would rather he get incinerated.
Yes.
I sort of laughed because when they were going into meet the dragons for the first time.
The presentation?
Yeah. And the instructor was like, oh, just beware of, like, scorch marks or whatever, scorch patches. And I kind of giggled. And then when the kids got scorched, and I was like, oh, that's not funny.
Did you think that they were joking?
No, but it just sounded funny. Okay. Like, it just, to me, it was like, oh,
I fully expected to lose at least 1, maybe 2.
Watch out for the scorch patches. And I was like, scorch patches, that's so funny. And then I was like, oh, yeah.
Not kidding.
I knew what it meant, and I don't know, it's just the way that she said it that sounded funny to me.
No. But that's the thing, though. They are not shy about killing off characters.
No. I know. These kids are vicious.
Like, I'm glad Rhiannon is still alive.
Yeah.
I trust her-ish.
Yeah. No, I would trust her.
Her and Sawyer, I'm like, okay.
And Riddick? Is that the other one?
Riddick to a point, yes. He's very much class clown.
I like him, though. I think he's fun.
Oh, I'm keeping him around for entertainment value, don't get me wrong. But I don't know that he's ride or die.
Okay. Also, I need to start writing down names.
Yes.
The Shadow, the guy who's following her around now.
Zayden.
No, the guy that he assigned to follow her around.
Oh, I want to say Lincoln or something.
Anyways, I like him too.
He's fun.
I think he's going to be a good one.
He's like a big puppy dog.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to. He's the Great Dane beside you. But, I mean, I like the dragons. The whole her getting the black dragon, pretty predictable.
Well, so I was like, oh, she's going to bond with that big black one that hasn't bonded with anybody. Easily. And then they introduced the golden one, and I was like, never mind, it's going to be the golden one because she's tiny like Violet's tiny. And then she bonded with both of them.
Yes. And I am so glad the little golden one stayed.
I know.
She's so cute.
I like her too.
Like,
I would love to.
I want a little fuzzy golden dragon.
I would love to see this as a movie.
Oh, it'd be brilliant. It'd just be How to Train Your Dragon, but it'd be brilliant.
How to Train Your Dragon for adults, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that the dragons aren't like, I am a dragon, I am majestic and serious. Nah, they're kind of like fun. I mean, they're not, I wouldn't ever describe them as playful. They're dragons. But they're sarcastic and snarky, and that's better.
That's your vibe. Totally.
Yes. Sarcastic and snarky is what I live for.
Yeah. So, yeah, one thing I didn't fully understand at the beginning was the bonding process. And, like, so all second and third years have bonded. Mm-hmm. And if you don't bond, you remain in first year until you
because Sawyer,
right? Yeah.
Sawyer went through... He's going through first year again because he didn't bond in the second one because the dragons choose the bonding.
I think I was confused because he was the only character that they talked about that hadn't bonded, but there's obviously more.
Yeah, I think we were something like 30 or 40 from the previous year that hadn't bonded.
Just because they didn't talk about them, I was like, oh, did they all?
That's the thing. I had a question, actually, because in the summary that you read, because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. But if you're not bonded, you can't graduate. So do they just keep you in your first year till you die? Like, I am assuming there's another exit path that if after X number of times through a dragon hasn't bonded you just get either bumped down to scribe or whatever their other, regular army or something like that.
Maybe.
Like, the dragon not choosing you but you still being good enough to go through multiple times does make you a pretty dang good soldier. Mm-hmm. So I would assume that it's not like, well, you didn't catch a dragon's fancy. Done. So.
Well, I don't know. I also felt very much like this is a combination of like Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. Because you have like the magical like school, that part of Harry Potter, and then the
I get the Hunger Games, not so much Harry
survival
Potter.
of the fittest. Well, the Harry Potter part
the Harry Potter part.
The Harry Potter, yeah. The Harry Potter part is like the school and the camaraderie or not camaraderie.
See, I am a big How to Train Your Dragon fan. Yeah. And there's like a Dragon Rider series, so that's the whole thing coming up. So I think I'm too far into How to Train Your Dragon to see Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But
the magical part of it and the school part is like...
But they haven't really gotten into the magical part much. Like, no, that's the thing. Other than she wants to bond with a dragon and get her magic powers so that she can use one of the fancy pens.
Yeah, I know.
Which is such a scribed thing.
But I did think it was funny that she talked about, like, indoor plumbing, but they're still writing with, like, quills and stuff. And so I was like, what is...
Fantasy, sometimes the technology is...
Don't they have real pens?
Unexpected developments.
Can't they get them a real pen?
Yeah.
They can have them indoor plumbing. Sorry.
Indoor plumbing was invented, I think, fair ways before the ballpoint pen, especially when you consider the Romans had plumbing.
Oh.
And lots of lead pipes, which may have led to the insanity of Caligula.
Okay, then.
Yes. Fun fact.
History with Jess.
You don't want it. I have a very weird and eclectic knowledge. Yeah, it's a little bit odd that way. But I was interested in the different... Like, I was kind of expecting your standard-ish powers. Your invisibility, blah, blah, blah. The fact that Xaden can control shadows, pretty cool.
That is cool.
Like, that is very interesting.
Or stopping time.
Stopping time. I mean, we need to talk about that dragon, because that dragon is adorable. I want one. I'm seriously tempted to sculpt one.
Why does that not surprise me?
Because I'm me.
Yep.
The fact that she's a baby.
I know.
Like, it's a baby dragon. I want a baby dragon.
I thought for sure that Taryn and his mate were her parents. That was my first thought. They're not. I know.
Because when they first showed up, I can only assume that a dragon would be a heck of a lot more protective of as young than Taryn was. Like, he was protective, but I didn't get, like, this is my baby, I will kill you vibes.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just I wondered. I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is his kid.
Yeah.
But
The whole Taryn and Seagal?
I think so.
Since Stephen? Taryn and Seagal being bonded, or mates, which then means that Zayden and Violet, or Violence as he calls her, which honestly one of the better nicknames.
I know. I like that.
Are also connected is interesting.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go like full fated mate nonsense, because that stuff gets annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of an alternate route.
Yeah.
Where, like, the fact that he can hear her dragon and she can hear his dragon sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
It is.
I mean, it's got to be noisy having 3 dragons in your head.
Well, I think they're not there all the time.
Well, no, because he leaves.
Yeah.
And it's more of a, he can close the door, she can close the door kind of thing once she learns how to do it. But still.
Mm-hmm.
If they had an argument, goodness gracious.
I am fairly certain that Violet and Zayden are going to...
Oh, yeah, 110%. At the end of the first book, at the very least.
If not sooner.
If not sooner, yeah. But,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so far, big fan.
Yeah.
The fact that Jack isn't dead yet.
Oh, I hate that guy so much.
I would have removed something at this point. It would not be all original equipment.
Also, there was a girl, Luca, when they were doing the presentation, and
She wasn't annoying until the presentation, and they just fried her, and I'm like, yeah, I'm actually kind of okay with that.
I literally wrote in my notes, I wish Luca would get torched. And then I wrote something else. And then I wrote, yes, capital letters. And I was like, oh, that's bad.
Hey, I mean,
I'm not that evil, really.
There's a lot of people that are actively trying to kill other people.
There's a lot of jerks in this book.
Would you like to see the summary of my notes? Fourth wing, my notes are literally, interesting cover, not sure if I like it. Second note, Jack is a dick. Third note, Dane is a dick too. That's all the notes I took for the book.
That just really sums it up, I feel like.
I'm not good at taking notes.
Oh, sometimes I have to, especially because it's a lot of books to keep straight.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's very accurate.
It is accurate. Like, I can see what the hype is about for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious now to talk to our coworker, Raina.
Yes.
Because she made some comments before we started reading this book.
She not like it.
Well, I got the impression that she didn't really love it.
I mean, put it this way. At this point, I really like this book.
Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't disappoint me with the ending.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I tend to be a bit more... I don't like it. And then by the end, I'm like, okay, it's fine. I want this book to end well.
Yeah.
I
agree.
want the second book to also be very good.
Yes, I know.
Is this supposed to be a trilogy?
I'm not sure, actually.
Because I was just thinking that, because they have first, second, and third years. First, second, and third years.
Yeah.
Which is basically perfectly set up for a trilogy. But, I mean, there's also very strong hints that they are not actually going... Like, the first years may be sent to Battle Zone, Warfront, before they actually graduate.
Yeah.
Because it's very much angling in that direction.
Yeah. There's
some might not be
sketchy stuff happening that they are hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's hiding something.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I do not like her mother.
Oh, absolutely not. 100%.
Like, unless her mother knows... I mean, her mother knows more than she's letting on, obviously. She's
Absolutely.
the general.
Yeah.
If the general doesn't know more than what they're letting on,
That's
get a different general.
bad news bears for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
But, like, my question is did she force... Because by the sounds of it, for her entire growing up years, whatever those words are, she was fine with Violet being a scribe. She didn't push her towards being a dragon rider.
I don't know that she was fine with it.
Well,
maybe she
definitely has a preference for children going into battle. But she didn't really push her towards training for becoming a dragon rider or anything like that. She basically let her hang out with her dad and do scribe stuff, and all training. Like, she had already kind of started training for a scribe, when her mother suddenly pushes her into Dragon Rider, which makes me wonder if her mother is trying to prepare her for the country going to war and trying to give her daughter the best possible chance of survival.
Maybe.
Especially given her name.
I wonder, though, when did her dad die?
I don't know. I don't remember it saying.
Did that push to have her with the Dragon Riders come after her dad died? Because maybe her mom didn't want to.
Yeah. Her dad died recently and just. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, that's the impression that I got. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like her mom.
No.
At all. Her sister's pretty cool. But it's kind of. I wonder, honestly, if that's why she did it.
Maybe.
So I can't say I don't like her and that's the end of it, because I can kind of see what may have happened. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying for sure.
Because, I mean, if it was me, I'd do that.
Yeah.
I try to do it nicer, but I do that.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a dragon to protect you. Hopefully.
Yeah. And it sounds like, and they haven't really got into this too much, but she had some kind of condition or something, I feel like.
Yeah. They haven't specified anything.
No, but they kind of alluded to something closer to the beginning of the book.
Yeah, like weak joints.
Yeah.
Where she knows how to mend her own joints and whatnot and wrap them so that they're fixed.
And she injures really easily also.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's how much of a condition it is, if it's one of those things where it's just she's one of those fragile children that'll have 5 broken arms before they're 15, or if it's partially because she hasn't really done any training kind of a thing that would have strengthened it, but at the same time, like, she talks about climbing trees and swimming in rivers and whatnot with Dane, so that is fine. But I mean, when the healers know you by your first name, I'm like, oh, you again, what'd you break
They're
this time?
all very familiar to her.
So there's some kind of condition there, definitely, but I would like more details on it, because as they kind of go through, she's breaking things and injuring herself less. She's still getting hurt, but it tends more to be because somebody stabbed a sword at her.
Yeah.
As opposed to she's, popping on a knee joint or something.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine what that must be like when everybody around you wants to kill you.
I mean,
and you've done literally nothing.
She does say at one point that she's kind of gotten used to it, and at one point she does confront Xaden and go, just, if you're going to kill me, just do it already. The suspense is killing me. Yeah. Which, I get.
At this point, though, I feel like Dane's more likely to kill her than Xaden.
Yes.
So.
Because Dane would have to, if somebody told him it was a rule that he had to kill her, he definitely would. Like, he's a dick.
Yeah. Oh, totally. 100%.
Like, I just.
Oh, I know. And the farther into the book we get, the more annoying he gets.
Yeah. I do like Xaden.
I would like Dane to get torched also.
Yes. Slowly. Like a marshmallow.
I don't think that happens slowly, though.
No, I don't think so.
But I could do without all the hormone talk.
Yeah.
For me, it's getting to be a bit much.
But I do like Xaden.
Yeah. No,
he's trying to teach her how to defend herself. I mean, I did find it hilarious when she was attacked by those 3 guys during the claiming dragon picking thing. And they're attacking her, and they're yelling at him that he's not allowed to interfere. And he's going, I'm not interfering, I'm narrating. Like, brilliant.
Yes.
But he's actually trying to help her.
Yeah.
Whereas Dane is very much trying to
get her out of there. Yeah.
To an almost suspicious extent.
Yeah.
Like, there's a point where it's, Dane, what are you hiding?
Exactly.
But, I mean, I am very much looking forward to the second half.
Me too.
And the next book. I
know.
I'm glad we read it now, because November 7th isn't that far away.
Yes, that is true.
And that is a good thing, because I have the patience of nobody. I have 0. None. Doesn't exist.
I know. I'm almost tempted to pre-order it.
Oh, I'm intending to. I'm buying both of these books for my own collection. I like them that much.
What if it ends really horribly, though?
Then I will enjoy the first part. And then when it gets too bad, I'll put it in the freezer.
I know. I need another book to read like I need a hole in the head, but it's tempting. I was like, maybe I'll put it on my Christmas list. But then I was like, then I have to wait till Christmas.
I already have 4 books on my Christmas list, and there's no limit to how many I can do. They're Sanderson, so they're expensive. But I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, me too.
And it's not too school, not too battle-y.
So far.
Like Harry Potter. is very, I don't know, there's a lot of academics-ish. Like, there's a lot of school. Oh, battle at the end of the year, how handy. And Voldemort's not a good villain, but we'll get into that at a different time.
If we read Harry Potter. Have you read all of the Harry Potters?
No. I watched the movies so that I knew what happened. I did Lord of the Rings first. Lord of the Rings was one of the first proper, like, high fantasy books. And, well, Harry Potter came after. And he's just a little bit sad in comparison.
I'm not going to get into it with you.
That's probably a good idea. Very good idea, actually. Because I will argue Lord of the Rings till the cows come home.
And
or till the hobbits come home.
Fine, I've never read Lord of the Rings.
What? Well, now you know what we're doing next.
I read The Hobbit.
You haven't read Lord of the Rings?
No, I read The Hobbit.
Have you at least watched the movies?
I watched the first one.
I'm going to have to fire you. A librarian that's never read Lord of the Rings.
You can't fire me.
That is sacrilege.
You can't fire me for that. What about a librarian who's never read Jane Austen?
I have read Jane Austen. I just don't like it.
Fine.
That should be required reading.
Anyways. No, I read The Hobbit. I thought that was enough. It's the shorter of the choices.
It's shorter because it's not as good.
Well, it's also shorter.
Well, there's no denying that. Anyway.
Yes. I really wish I could watch this as a movie.
Yes, I do hope that they make it into it.
I know.
Well, I do and I don't. On the one hand, if you do it right, I hope you make it into
maybe
a movie.
a mini-series.
Mini-series would do better.
Yeah.
Kind of more of like a Wheel of Time thing where they turn it into a series.
Because in a movie, you have to cut out so much.
Well, that's the thing. That being said, though, this is written relatively well in terms of movie. I find Gordon Corman does not work great as a movie because a lot of the humor in his books is in the writing. Mm-hmm. Like,
you almost have to have a narrator.
Yeah, like if you did it with narration and you had the exact right cast, you'd be good. Mm-hmm. But the way it's written, some of the snark is in the descriptions and stuff. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one is a lot more. You don't have quite so much internal monologue, dialogue, whatever, and it's snappy. Like there's not a lot of downtime, as it were. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, especially with these kind of things, it's like, oh, here's the trials of the beginning of the school year, and then now we're doing classwork, and then big battle at the end. That just kind of gets a bit meh. Like I was fully expecting the dragon claiming thing bonding to be at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
it came up very fast.
It came up relatively quickly. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, okay. But then I'm thinking about it like, yes, if you want to train a dragon rider, it's important that they have a dragon.
Yeah.
Why would you waste an entire year training people who may or may not even make the cut when it comes to the dragons themselves deciding?
I definitely wasn't expecting it in the first half of the book anyway.
No, I was expecting the second half minimum.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I was like, oh, we're here already? Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not mad. 2 dragons for the price of 1.
I know.
And it's so dark cute.
That little one.
Oh, so adorable.
I just want her in a plushie.
Yes.
Like stuffy.
Yes. If we can't get a movie, we have to get stuffies.
Yes.
That should be the rule.
I know. So Rebecca Yarros, if you're listening, we want swag.
Yes.
Please.
Please. Pretty please. Please with a dragon on top.
In the form of stuffies. I can't remember her name. The little one.
I know her name, I just can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things that has too many A's.
Oh,
it's like an anemone. It's not the name, but it's like an anemone. That word. Too many A's in there. I can't do it.
Well, and I think that's the one benefit to reading is that you hear all the pronunciations.
Because listening is an audiobook versus reading.
Yeah. That's what I. Because
Yeah, I will say the only other problem with that is Brandon Sanderson.
Take a shot.
When I first saw all the names spelled out, I'm like, what? Oh, that.
Yes.
Like, I always have that, oh, Kaladin is spelled with a K. Yasna, spelled with a J. Ah, that makes sense. So,
yep.
I mean,
it's true.
My sister had a litter of puppies, and we named them after Stormlight Archives characters. Because we're nerds.
Your sister's dog had a litter of puppies.
Yes, no, my sister herself did not have a litter of puppies.
I know that people knew what you meant, but...
Any predictions for the second half?
They're gonna go to war.
At the very least, there's going to be some kind of outpost visit.
Yep.
Field trip.
Field trip. A battle. There's got to be a battle coming.
At the very least, a skirmish. Yeah, definitely battle, definitely skirmish. I think her and Xaden are going to get along.
Get along. I just really want
Well, they're still kind of... He's in the, I'm protecting you because literally if you die, my dragon dies.
Yeah.
And if my dragon dies, I die. So fine, I'm protecting you. Like, he's very much in the... I'm doing it because I have to, not because I want to.
Yeah, but he wants to.
Yeah, he won't admit it to himself, but I think by the end he'll admit it to himself. So, put it that way.
Agreed.
Other than that, I hope nothing happens to the little golden dragon.
I know.
Given the fact she's a baby. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact... I honestly thought the little golden dragon, when it first showed up, because the fact that it's just like, oh yeah, here, I guess maybe it's curious. We had an extra dragon show up. Cool. I found quite hilarious. I honestly thought the little golden dragon would be like one of those things where, yeah, it's little, it's unassuming, it has paws. Would be... I cuddled puppies all weekend. It was going to be one of those situations where it's more of a, like, the smallest is the most powerful kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. Where it's got some hidden powers and, you know, it's really powerful and that's why they won't let it out or, you know, you don't really see them. I didn't expect it to be that. And a baby!
Yeah.
Like, now I need to know more about dragons and how dragon babies are made. Like, it's a hatchling, but are they all gold? Do different species have different, like, do all dragons, baby dragons started as gold? Like, I've got so many questions.
I can
really
tell
like
you
this
that
book.
when a mother dragon and a father dragon really love each other.
And love, true love. Anyway,
On
suffice
that
it to
note.
say, I'm looking forward to the second half.
Same.
I really hope I'm not disappointed. Please don't disappoint me.
Same. We are back with part 2 of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So
I'm annoyed I have to wait till November 7th.
I know. That was like the last thing I wrote. No, don't make me wait 2 more weeks for the next book.
I mean, by the time you guys listen to this, we're already going to have had it, but...
Yeah, the second book will be long out. You'll probably all have read it already.
Yeah. Don't spoil it for us. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to enjoy a popular book for a change, because there's so many times where it's like, oh, it's trending, it's fantastic, and then I'm like, yeah, but it kind of sucks.
I know. And I, like, when I started reading this book, I thought, man, this is reading so much like a young adult book. This is not what I thought. I don't think I'm going to like this book. But by the end, I was so attached to the characters.
Yes.
And but I thought you were going to hate it.
It had dragons in it.
I know, but...
Statistically, I have to like some of it.
I know, but for some reason, I thought you were going to hate it, especially after one of our coworkers said that, well, she had sort of mixed feelings about this book, I feel like. I didn't get the sense that she liked it as much as everybody else.
See,
Seems
it's
to be
How to
loving
Train Your Dragon for adults.
Yeah.
That's what I maintain that it is.
Kind of it is.
And the second half didn't disappoint, because that was my thing. Going into the second half, I'm like, please don't disappoint me, please don't disappoint me. And it didn't. Except for one thing where I'm irked. It says the golden dragon used up all of her magic, and now she's just massive. And I have questions, and I need them answered immediately. Does just using up all your power as a baby dragon just make you big? What happened to her? Is she still bonded? Can she now fly with them? Because, I mean, I gotta say, that little harness thing on the front of Terran, cute as hell.
Yeah.
But, like, I have questions.
Yes.
I have to wait till the 7th.
I know. When you said that to me this morning, when you were like, I'm so mad, and I'm like, oh no. What now? Oh no.
I
And then
just
you
need
told
to
me,
know more.
and I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. You still like the book? Yeah. Okay, then we're good.
But, like, okay, so does her power to stop time or slow down time?
Stop.
Stop. It was completely stop. Does that still... Does she get different power? Because all the dragons have a power.
Yeah. Can she use that power without, like, wearing herself out?
Yeah. Like, I've got questions.
Yeah. I know.
It's...
I know you do.
I think we all do. There are more questions than just that, though. And that's why I need the second freaking book right now.
Immediately.
Yes.
Yesterday, preferably.
I know. I got an update on my pre-order yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
We now have an expected date for your...
I got 2 updates because I bought one for me and one for my sister.
So my book should be arriving on the 7th. So maybe it will arrive early.
That would be lovely.
That would be amazing.
A Christmas miracle.
Are you going to wait to give Chris hers till Christmas?
Yeah, Chris has to wait till Christmas. She's going to read it before then, guaranteed. But I'm making her wait till Christmas.
One thing I will say, though, there are some spicy parts in this book, for lack of a better word.
I would use electric.
Okay, whatever. Electric, spicy.
There's literally lightning shooting everywhere.
It is much easier to read it than to listen to it. So if you're going into the audiobook, and make sure your kids aren't around, because, I mean...
You may have to explain more things to them.
Yes, my daughter kept walking past the room, and she was, like, not stopping in the room, but she was, like, in the kitchen, and then, I don't know.
Headphones are recommended.
Yeah. I was like, oh my... And it, like, when you're listening, you can tell exactly how long it is, like... It's like 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, I can't listen to this anymore. So just be wary of that if you are listening to the book.
If you're reading it, it's not bad.
Maybe it doesn't bother you as much as it bothered me. I don't usually have such a strong reaction when I read things like that, but like hearing
in most
it,
adult books, it's somewhat expected.
Yeah.
Like there's going to probably be some kind of thing, because romance tends to be a part of most adult books.
Yeah.
But like
listening
to it versus reading it is different, because reading it, you can kind of just skim.
Yeah.
And go like, yeah, you're done now. Okay, cool.
Yep.
But
yeah, unless you want to like skip over. But it's just...
I had 30 seconds. I had 30 seconds.
Is it done yet? And like, not saying like whatever. It doesn't bother me usually, but...
Listening to it is different.
It's totally different.
It's completely different listening to it. It makes it more, I don't know, human?
And you have to hear all the words. Somebody has to actually say the words. I was like...
I think the worst part would be, depending how good of a voice actor they are.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, no, just read it. Plain, please. No acting in this part is necessary.
Yes. No tone is necessary. Anyway, that's really neither here nor there, except for the fact that, yeah. Also, Xaden says to her, don't fall in love with me. And I was like, guys, why do guys always say that? And then the girls say, I'm not going to fall in love with you. And then they always fall in love with them.
Generally, it's the guys first, though. They're like, don't fall in love with me. You know, I'll just hurt you. And then they're like, yeah, but I kind of love you. So
yeah,
if you could now, that'd actually be great.
But the guys always say don't. The girls always do. The girl always gets hurt. Like, every time. And I just...
Every once in a while, the guys get hurt. That's more fun.
Yes, it would be more fun. But in this case especially, I was like, in my head, I'm like, he's going to hurt her. He's going to hurt her. He's going to hurt her. And then the Griffins showed up. And I was like, oh, no. Typical.
I think, though, like, I was worried when the Griffin showed up that she was going to do the classic heroine thing. I'm never speaking to you again. Goodbye. And then, like, the next book is just her, like, I'm over here, he's over there. Where I'm like, I'm just not dealing with that. Get your dragons. Come on. Work it out. You got fired. Like, deal. She handled it in quite an adult manner.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. Like, actually.
So often, especially, like you said, a lot of this reads like YA. That... it becomes like this big thing, and he's like, but if you just let me explain, and I'm not hearing you. Like, it can be quite like, just communicate. Literally, that all fix everything.
Yeah, and she was like, no, I will hear you out. You know, okay, fine, I agree with what you're telling me. I don't necessarily forgive you,
but I can understand why you did it.
And I am going to help you with your cause. Right? Like,
she can put her personal opinion aside, given the fact that there's now an attack on this village, and it's kind of like a, let's put a pin in it. I get why you did it. I'm not saying I forgive you wholeheartedly, but let's focus on the current problems.
I can see the bigger picture later. Here.
Yep.
And the bigger picture is that there is something happening that should not be happening, and we need to deal with this. And our leaders have been lying to us and telling us things that aren't true or hiding stuff.
I appreciate the fact that the author went for the communicate like adults wrote rather than the storm off in anger route, because quite honestly, the storm off in anger route gets very tedious very quickly.
It really does.
Like, there's a point where I'm just like, just stop.
I don't care for it.
No.
At all. So, yeah.
Then she killed Liam.
I know. I told you the other day that there was a part there that I was almost crying. And
I'm mad. You can't kill Liam.
I love Liam. And
You could have killed Sawyer. You have my permission to do that. Even the Joker guy, whose name I forget, starts with an R. You could kill him.
Riddick.
Why did you kill Liam?
Dane.
It was unnecessary. Dane would have been perfect. Dane would have been perfect. You should have killed him instead.
Yeah.
Except for he never would have gone outside the borders, because that's against the rules.
Yeah, well, there are any number of characters that could have been killed that weren't Liam.
That weren't Liam.
I know.
Rebecca, if you're listening, I don't like you because of this. If Liam doesn't come back in Iron Flame, we're going to have words.
Well, he's dead. He can't come back.
You never know. It's magic.
I guess so. That's true.
And when there's magic involved, you never know.
True enough.
I mean, Brennan's back.
Yeah.
Which also, many questions.
I know.
So
that's why it's imperative that we get this book ASAP.
Exactly. What's the dragon's name again?
Which one?
The big guy.
Taryn?
Taryn. So Taryn was Brennan's dragon. Was he not? I was pretty sure he was.
No, Taryn didn't have a rider for like years and years and years.
I'm gonna Google this.
Yeah, Google it.
I was pretty sure he was Brennan's dragon. Yeah, I'm
Presumably, if he's alive, he would still have his dragon.
I must have misread that part then. Where is it? No, there's questions about his dragon. Yes, view spoiler, you ridiculous thing. Okay, no. Okay. Maybe he was last seen around that same time. Maybe that's where I'm getting it. Because he wasn't bonded for a while, but Brennan's also been dead 5 years.
But it's been much longer than that since Taryn has bonded with anybody.
But I think at one point they said that Taryn hasn't been seen since Brennan died. Not necessarily that it was connected, but it was around the same time.
Maybe.
Okay, either way, I'm wrong. Where's his dragon?
Well, it's probably somewhere.
I
don't think
he didn't die. So then the guy that keeps fixing her, the medic.
Oh, something with an N.
Yeah, he was there when Brennan died, right?
Possibly.
So does he know? Is he part of the rebellion?
I don't know.
Have they infiltrated the school? And what's this about if there's 3... Oh, I'm drawing a blank on all the names of everything today. The rebel kids. What are they named?
All I can think of is Insurgent, but that's a completely different book. I don't know.
Well, either way, if 3 of the rebel kids are together, then one of the generals, the one that's supposed to be able to see the future, can't see what's going on with them. So now I have very many questions. I'm curious. Because that's the thing, like, the end of the second, well, the end of the book, had enough mysteries that I'm very much looking forward to the second book. Because sometimes it's kind of like authors, there's 1 or 2, and you kind of want to know what happens, but they don't leave enough that you have to know. Now I feel like it will properly build on the story rather than just being like, an extension.
Yes. I know. And I think there's only 2 books. This is just a duology, so I'm hoping that it gets wrapped up real good by the end, so that I'm not, waiting.
Well, on the one hand, yes. On the other hand, no. On the one hand, yes, wrap it up, tie up all loose ends, give me more Golden Dragon. But on the other hand, that means the series is over.
Also true.
I don't want the series to be over.
I know. And it's one of those things, I always see these things on Instagram, books I wish I could read again for the first time. I think this is one of them.
That's the thing, where if I ever get amnesia, just bring me books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to experience them all again for the first time.
I know. It is hard. I read Daisy Jones and the Six. I powered through that book in 24 hours. I loved it so much. I wanted to start it again as soon as I finished. Last year, I tried to read it again for a second time. I could not get through it in the same way because it's this is not as exciting because I know what's going to happen, right? And I wanted to read it because, or maybe it was this year, there's a miniseries now, and I wanted to watch it, but I wanted to read it again first before I watched it. And
That way you can properly critique and go, no, that's wrong. The book had it
yes,
this way.
yeah. And so now I still haven't watched it, and whatever. But the thing I'm trying to say is that it's hard to, when you love a book so much like that and you want to read it again, it's just not the same. You just don't have those same feelings, right?
Yeah, I think it depends on the book.
Maybe.
Like, there's some books that I've reread, and it's like, darn, I forgot how good this was.
Yeah.
Like, I find you have to leave a bit of time in between.
Yeah, but it's
that, like, when you see an old friend, it's like, hey, yeah, and you actually get along great, and, you know, things are flowing, and it's just good.
It's still never quite the same as the first time, though.
No, there's a certain joy to the first time finding that good book. It's just like, yes.
Yep.
But you can get, like, it can still be good.
Yeah.
But it depends on the book. There's some books you cannot reread a second time.
I'm not saying that
doesn't
it
work.
can't be good. It's just, yeah, something about that feeling. You just can't get that feeling back of like, oh, and like the satisfaction of like finishing a book and it's so good. And you just like, you want to read it again right away is because it was that good.
Or you want the next one.
Yes. Or that. Yeah. That's the thing.
Preferably both.
And also like certain books and you're like, you finish them and you're like, what person in my life can I tell about this book because it's so good and it would be just perfect for them. And I had a book like that once. I finished it and I was like, I need to tell somebody about this book. So I texted my friend and then she read it and she texted me back, thank you. And I just love when that happens.
Yeah.
When like you find a book and you're like, this person would love it. And they do. And it's like, yes.
That's the thing, like, for me, it tends to be my sister. And I just tell her, you have to read this book. I'm not giving you a choice. You have to read it. And, like, I told her that about Fourth Wing after I finished the first half. And then it was like, shut your mouth and don't tell me and don't ruin the second half for me because she just blew right through it.
Of course.
But, yeah, just being like, yes, that's a good book. And she's already, like, I'm buying it for Christmas. She's already buying the audiobook copy. Like,
yeah,
it's just great. And for our daily Brandon Sanderson quota,
take a shot.
with Brandon Sanderson, like, there's a certain joy, though, to, I don't really want to read that book. Why didn't you tell me about this sooner? It's fantastic. And that's the thing with Brandon Sanderson, where I'm like, you have to. They're really, really good. I don't know. And then she did. Now she's like 15 Brandon Sanderson books ahead of me and just ruining them all. So...
I know. Yeah. It's the difference between her life and yours. She has time to read whatever she wants.
And whenever. I just get a stack of new books coming in, and I'm like, well, I gotta read that one, gotta read that one. So, but yeah, like I said, there's some books that you can reread, and I'd argue Gordon Corman, you can always reread Gordon Corman.
Well, I'm not saying you can't reread them. I'm just saying it's never the same as the first time.
There are some, I find mystery ones are not as good on a reread unless it's been like a decade ago where you're like, I have a vague recollection, but I don't really remember what happened.
Yeah. Thrillers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I were to reread The Pawn now, meh.
Yeah. But you read it like years apart, right?
Said. The Pawn?
Did you not read it before we read it?
No, that was the one my friend kept telling me about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
No worries. You have to leave like quite a long period of time between. But that being said, sometimes I like going back and rereading that same one again, especially if it's like quite a long, like involved like different plot lines, different characters, there's twists and turns the entire way, you're dizzy half the time. Those I like going back and rereading because I'm like, ow, now I see it. Those are fun.
Yeah.
But I'm also the weird person that when I finish a TV show, I go back and watch the first episode. Just interesting. I find it fascinating. How the people have changed, how the sets have changed.
That's
who's alive, who's dead.
So, for those of you who are familiar with the show Sister Wives and all the drama that's been happening, I've been seeing it all over the place, and I'm like, huh. So I started from the beginning, and I'm like, I want to see how this plays out, right? And
how many wives are added or lost?
They only add one. By the end, he's lost...
one too many.
He's lost 3 now, I think.
Good.
But, like... I started at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, you can see this from the beginning, that this is not headed in a great direction.
He's skeevy.
Oh, totally. And, like...
And predatory.
I find that show, like, when it first came out, I was like... I find it fascinating because I find that lifestyle very, like, fascinating. Not in a good way fascinating, in a car wreck fascinating. Like, you can't look away kind of thing.
I think polyamory is something that, given the right people, it can be a healthy relationship. I think Sister Wives is a horrible example.
It takes a lot of work, and it takes the right people.
Yes.
And in the, like, you can, I don't know, I'm not that far in yet. Like,
He's skeezy.
they're on season 18, I think, and I'm on season
What?
6. Yes. 18 seasons of that show.
Good Lord.
I know.
We could have been making Fourth Wing.
I know, right?
Let's go back in history, rip out Sister Wives, and replace it with Fourth Wing.
I know, but then what would I hate watch?
Kardashians.
Oh, I watched that one too. I'm such a sucker for reality TV.
I can't do those shows, honestly. To me, it's just like beating myself in the head with a hammer. And I just get mad. I just can't deal with the stupidity.
Anyway, that's I don't even know how I got on this topic, but anyway.
Back to Fourth Wing. Dragons.
Yeah, dragons.
Polygamous dragons.
Sorry.
For anybody that missed that, Janine was pretending she was flying.
Well, dragons fly.
Yes, Janine, they do. You've got
Anyways.
a wonderful grasp of the concept of a dragon.
This whole thing is falling apart.
I will say, I'm very interested to see what happens with the... Oh, what are they called? The white... Wyvern?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then whatever the people are called.
Yeah.
My brain's stuck on wraiths, but it's just because I need to watch Lord of the Rings.
That does sound familiar, though. Now I feel like I need to...
Double check.
Yeah. How do I...
Is look up Fourth Wing characters or Fourth Wing... Yeah, characters should do it. But yeah, I'm quite interested to see what we learn about those in the second book, because they're very much a kind of battle at the end. I mean, I knew from the beginning that they were going to show up at some point, because the whole... her having the book of myths and fairy tales, or whatever it was called, and that book not being in the library was a pretty good indication that at least some of that stuff in there was real. But I'm curious to see what kind of information we get about those, because by the sounds of it, there was like a school for them and training them as well, and then when you killed the leader, whatever Riven, whatever they're called, died as well.
Yes.
So there's just interest. I don't know. I'm just interested.
Yep.
Good questions.
Okay, so this page doesn't talk about them, but there is a website called EmpyreanWriters.com, which lays out all the characters. There's a map. It tells you who all the characters are.
Goes full nerd.
It does. And auxiliary characters. Then it talks about the professors, the dragons, and it tells you like what they are and who their riders are. And yeah, there's a ton of information here, so that's really cool.
That's good. I will say, on the note of professors, the professor that teaches her after she starts channeling the dragon's power, kind of seems kind of useless.
Professor Carr.
Yes. Like...
Professor Carr has hair and surprising strength. What?
Just a note that he's not bald. Unless his strength come from his hair. Like a Samson Delilah issue.
Oh, it doesn't say that.
That's a shame, because I was now just imagining a professor with a mullet. But yeah, like, most of the stuff that she learns in terms of channeling and how to control her powers and stuff like that, like, he's definitely helping a little bit. And kind of more on, like, focus and directing it. But the majority of it is, like, Xaden teaching her. Which, I mean, his dragon's probably giving him a few tips and tricks. But I found that interesting.
Yes.
I will say, I like him much better as a match for her than Dane. Because Dane is horrible.
Dane is the worst.
And Xaden makes her a saddle.
I know. He does all these things, and he says he doesn't love her, but he does love her.
No, he straight up does.
Yeah. Is Fourth Wing spicy? Sorry.
But, like, I find Taryn hilarious. You like my saddle? I think it looks very good.
I know. He's funny.
Honestly, best dragons ever.
Yeah.
Like, the dragon sarcasm in this book is fantastic.
And
I like the fact that, like, the dragons talk, but they don't, like, talk.
Yeah.
Because I always kind of feel like if they full on talk, it starts to get a bit corny and cheesy very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much funnier when the dragons are providing a running commentary that only the main character can hear.
Yes.
So.
Sorry, I'm still trying to find.
Did I make any predictions for this one?
No.
Okay. I was trying to remember when I got to the end and was very annoyed that they just went, oh, by the way, Brendan's alive, bye! If I predicted that Brendan was alive or not, because I couldn't remember.
Yeah. No, I didn't write any down if you did, and I usually do write them down, so...
Yeah, and you like proving how wrong I usually am.
No, it's not that. It's just to...
No, it's good to prove how wrong I usually am.
Just to remember. Okay, why doesn't it tell me what these freaking things are called? Venin and wyverns.
Venin, that's what they were. For the record, I found that in 3 seconds. You've been Googling for 5 minutes.
What did you type?
Fourth wing creatures. Animals seemed wrong.
Yeah, no, animals is not right, but yeah, I was Googling it all wrong. Anyway, venin and wyvern. I didn't realize until Liam died that if the dragon dies, the rider dies. But
yeah,
if the rider...
a lot made of if the
rider dies, the dragon doesn't die.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work both ways, which I thought was sad.
But if Violet dies, then Xaden dies.
Then everybody dies.
Then everybody dies.
If Violet dies, everybody
dies.
Yeah.
So.
That's why Violet can't die.
Yeah.
That's why I'm safe in the knowledge that she's not going to get killed off, because if she dies, they all go.
I mean, it's pretty obvious she's not going to get killed off.
No.
What do you think of her power?
The lightning?
Yes. It seems so obvious now that I think about it, honestly.
Yeah. Part of me was like, that's it? Just lightning?
On the other hand, the amount that you can do with lightning.
Yeah, no, I know. It's, once I thought about it, then I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the stopping time is much cooler.
The stopping time is much cooler, and that's the thing. I want to know, now that Goldie is old...
Andarna.
Andarna, thank you. I'm horrible with names. Now that Andarna is... I don't know if old, but they just said she got big.
Yeah.
I need clarification on that.
I know.
Does she still have powers? Is she going to now channel those powers to Violet?
Is she
Is she just flappy fiery? I'm assuming she has some kind of powers, because all dragons have some kind of powers.
Also, is she still gold?
Is she still gold? Good question. Will she still fit in a little harness? Because that was just freaking adorable.
Well, I don't think so if she's big.
That's a shame.
And I assume if she's big, she can fly herself.
Yeah, but it's still so cute. I want a baby dragon.
No, you don't.
No, I straight up do. You can make me toast.
Or burnt bread.
I'll just put some cheese in Mom. Grilled cheese sandwiches.
Okay, then.
Me and my dragon are gonna have fun.
You do you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I could not be trusted if I had 3 wishes, I'll tell you that much.
Your wishes would be something else, that's for sure.
Yes, they would be.
I know. I was taking notes when I was listening. And, like, my last bunch of notes were just me, like, basically yelling at the book. Like, the dragons are in on it, too. And then I wrote, Dane, in capital letters, because I was mad, because he was in her mind. And then I was like...
Honestly, that ticked me off.
Oh, I know.
In favor
Yes.
of Linda's editing. That ticked me off, because you're supposed to be her friend.
I know.
Not a spy.
And you said you wouldn't go into her mind without asking. Like,
Yeah.
you don't just go into somebody's mind without their permission.
And he's just been doing it the entire time.
I know. I was so which is why I had to yell at him.
If he gets flambéed, I'm not going to be mad. I may do a happy dance and bring marshmallows.
Yeah. I know. There would be no sadness.
It's just such a creep.
Yeah. And then I was like, not Liam! Brendan's alive! Like,
Everything's just shouting, exclamation mark.
yes, it was like capital letters, exclamation marks. Every note I wrote.
That's better than my rolling eyes emojis. My notes tend to be peppered with those quite liberally.
Oh, I do that sometimes. Because I handwrite notes, because it's what I prefer. I draw the rolling eye emoji.
Hey, it works.
I'm getting real good at it.
Oh, no.
But also, in the audiobook, because the last chapter is told from Xaden's perspective,
Which also threw me for a second.
the voice switches.
Oh.
And so it's like a woman who's narrating, all of a sudden there's a man talking. And I was like, What's going on here?
It did make me wonder if Iron Flame's going to be from his perspective.
Maybe.
Because I think that'd be quite interesting.
That would be interesting.
Because then you get a lot of the history of the rebellion, rather than just Violet figuring it out for the first time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But
I'm curious.
it really threw me to hear a man's voice all of a sudden after listening to this
Just like,
woman's
whoa.
voice. And I was like, well, that's weird.
I can understand that, though, because the thing is, if they hadn't changed the voice, would you have noticed per se? I mean, you probably would have noticed, but it would have
Well,
taken... It
'cause
wouldn't have been quite as...
She always did
effective.
change her voice a little bit when he talked. She's one of those who changes her voices for characters.
A little bit I don't mind, but don't go full on it. It gets a bit much.
Yeah. But,
No, I mean, I like the power that she has,
yeah.
and I think there's endless possibilities for it. I'm still kind of kicking myself for not seeing it sooner, because it's so obvious. He's dark, she's light. Of course it was going to be something light-based.
Yeah.
And what's more powerful than lightning? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
it's kind of...
That's a good point, actually.
Not that it was, like, bad or anything like that, where... You know, when you hit a point in the book where it's like, duh, of course. Like, it wasn't anything like that. It's just more like, no, of course this makes sense. Duh. It's logical. But
I'm also curious about her other friends. What happened to them? What have they been doing this whole time while these guys have been in battle? You know, like Rhiannon and Riddick and...
yeah, because they split up, didn't they?
Yeah. They took her away from her crew.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
I hope none of them are dead. I
know.
can't handle another death.
No.
I'm still mad about Liam. It was unnecessary. It didn't have to happen.
No. I know.
You could have picked a different character.
I know. Like, almost any other character.
Yeah. Like, other than Xaden, yes, any other character.
Yeah. Or Violet.
Yeah. I will say, not a fan of her mother.
No.
I want to kick her in the shins.
Absolutely.
I did find the stealing a map from her mother's office thing.
That was
brilliant.
awesome. Yeah.
Reminiscent of Gordon Corman. That, I'm like, that's top notch.
That was excellent. I love that so much.
It does make me think, though, that these things just escalate every single year. And by the end, it's like, yeah, no, we lifted up the school with dragons and put it down somewhere else.
Oh, yes.
No, it's a good book. Like,
No, it is good.
It's... I don't want to say it's fun, because that gives the wrong impression.
There are fun parts, though.
There are fun parts. It's serious without taking itself seriously. Like, it's not joking around, haha, but it's also not one where it's, like...
It's not a downer.
Yeah, it's not a downer. There you go.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what happens with her mother. I feel like I've said I'm curious 15 times
I know,
already.
there's so many unanswered questions.
I'm very, very curious. My name is George. See what happens in the second half. Because her mother obviously knows.
Oh, absolutely.
Very
I think
clearly.
all the higher-ups know exactly what's going on.
They'd be pretty dumb if they didn't.
They're just either in denial or think that they can deal with it without letting everybody else know.
Well, they're very focused on we maintain our borders and protect our people, and to heck with the rest of the world. Which, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Violet's essentially agreed to join the rebellion. Her mother is very much on the opposite side. I'm curious to see if Violet and Brennan being on the rebellion side means Mira will join as well.
I wonder.
Or if they're going to do, like, face-off of the siblings. Because I can kind of see Mira joining on the one hand. On the other hand, why would you give up the perfect opportunity for conflict between characters?
Yep, exactly.
So...
Exactly. I also wonder if her dad is still alive.
No, I think he's dead. He doesn't feel alive to me.
Okay. Well, Liam doesn't feel alive to me, and you think he might come back, so...
No, I said I want him to come back, not that I think he'll come back. There's a difference between the two. So far, there's been no magic that'll put you back together.
No.
Or rather, put your dragon back together so that you live. Although that would be a neat trick. Dragon zombies.
I know. I feel like it's sad that if the dragon dies, the rider dies, but if the rider dies, the dragon doesn't die.
Yeah, it's power and size.
I know.
The dragon is channeling huge amount of power to the human.
Just let me be sad about this.
Sorry, the human's channeling nothing to the dragon. The dragon's more like, I deign to let you on my back. Not, you, I am doing you a favor. You're insignificant in this equation.
I know. I just don't see why it has to be one and not the other.
I know.
Just let me be sad.
Okay.
Okay?
You can be sad.
I'm sad. I almost cried. I very rarely cry when I read books.
I didn't cry, I yelled. I'm great at funerals. Everybody else is gently weeping. No! Oh, the humanity!
I want so badly to tell you to come to my funeral and do that.
I mean, you can tell me. I'll see how things go by that point. That should be another 50 years or so.
Oh, 50 years. I mean, it could. My grandma is 96, and in 50 years, I would be 93, so...
Yeah, see?
It's possible. Not probable, but...
Hey, you never know.
Anyway.
Do you have any fun facts for us, Janine?
Yes, I do. Sorry. Today's fun facts focus on dragons, because I actually know very little about dragons. So here's a few tidbits that I found for you all.
I'll try not to interrupt sarcastically throughout.
Okay. Is my dragon research... You're laughing at my dragon research.
I mean, first sentence is a dragon is a large mythical legendary creature. No, really? It's one of those things where I just assume everybody knows what a dragon is, but I might be wrong.
Well, I just wanted to give some background for...
Okay, I'll shut up.
Next time you can do the fun facts.
If it was me doing fun facts, we'd have fun facts about cassette tapes.
In that episode, leave us a note in the comments if you would have preferred cassette tape fun facts. What episode is that? Family Game. Anyway, a dragon is a large, magical, legendary creature that appears in the folklore of multiple cultures worldwide. Beliefs about dragons vary considerably through regions, but dragons in Western cultures, since the High Middle Ages, have often been depicted as winged, horned, and capable of breathing fire. Dragons in Eastern cultures are usually depicted as wingless, four-legged, serpentine creatures with above-average intelligence. Commonalities between dragons' traits are often a hybridization of feline, reptilian, mammal, and avian features.
So just all animals?
Yes. Scholars believe vast, extinct, or migrating crocodiles bear the closest resemblance, especially when encountered in forested or swampy areas, and are most likely the template of modern Oriental dragon imagery. Are dragons real? Medieval theology aside, few people today believe in the literal existence of dragons in the way they may believe in the existence of Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, for example. The dragon, or at least the dragon version most familiar to Westerners, is simply too big and too fantastic to take seriously or literally. In the modern age of satellite imagery and smartphone photos and videos, it's simply implausible that any giant winged fire breathers inhabit Earth's lands or skies unseen, which I think is kind of a good point. But I think we all already knew that.
Yeah, despite hoping it was the opposite.
However, only a few centuries ago, rumors of dragons seem to have been confirmed by eyewitness accounts from sailors returning from Indonesia who reported encountering dragons, Komodo dragons, a type of monitor lizard, which can be aggressive, deadly, and reach 10 feet or 3 meters in length.
Fun fact, Komodo dragons, to force food down their throat more quickly, will just run headlong into a tree with their mouth open to eat more quickly.
Komodo dragons are terrifying.
They're cool.
They're also terrifying. In a possible parallel to dragons, it was previously believed that the bite of a Komodo dragon was especially deadly because of toxic bacteria in its mouth, though that myth was debunked in 2013 by a team of researchers from the University of Queensland who discovered that the Komodo dragon's mouths are no dirtier than those of other carnivores.
Whoever did those mouth swabs deserves hazard pay. I hope they got it.
Mm-hmm. Western scientists only verified the existence of the Komodo dragon around 1910 following the investigation of Lieutenant Jacques Karel Henri van Steen van Hensbroek and Peter Owens. I don't think I said that right at all. Peter Owens,
yeah.
According to The Guardian. But rumors and stories of these fearsome beasts circulated long before that. So
fascinating.
So there is, I guess, technically Komodo dragons. They don't fly or breathe fire.
Yeah.
So...
See, my theory of dragon lore, and I could be completely off base about this, is the, ancient civilizations and whatnot started discovering dinosaur fossils.
Mm-hmm.
And dragons were the stories they came up with around them to fit a physical thing that they found.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my theory of dragon mythology.
I think we'll never know for sure, 100%. But
Not until I get my time machine working.
yeah.
Got a few bugs right now.
Well, get on it, Jess.
Well, it's working to go forwards at a rate of 1 minute per minute. But it's the backwards I'm having trouble with. I've broken Janine.
Oh, gosh.
Should we end it there for today? I think that gives Linda enough.
I think we have gone on long enough.
Yeah. Well, before I forget, are we planning on doing Iron Flame and actually finally doing the second book of a series?
Yes. So keep your eyes peeled for that one coming out shortly after this one.
Yeah, hopefully we're not disappointed.
Yeah,
Because then Janine might cry.
I might. It's true. And Jess might throw things.
Entirely possible. So that's what we thought of the book, but those are just our opinions, and we'd like to hear yours. Leave us a comment.
Thanks for joining us for Books and Banter, and thanks to our editor, Linda. We'll see you next time.